All right, good evening. So, in this episode, we're gonna show you how to create a new patient, actually, a follow up patient note from two different ways. So, the first way we're gonna create is actually loading it from a previous patient note. So, if you're at this screen, which is over here, we're gonna click on check in and check out. That's how you find your patient of the day. So I have two patients that I did the sample procedure already, but we're gonna do this patient, which is Tester Ginger. So your MA should already done this for you. So if they double click it, they will check this patient in. So this patient was checked in at 11:39, and so after that we're gonna hit close. So from here, we are going to double click it one more time, and that will actually open a visit note. That will create a visit note so that we can actually operate and function as. So in this particular patient, what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to copy the previous note. So for the most part, what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy the note we created before. So on the top form over here, there's a row of big icon and there's a row of small icon. So the row of small icon is copy from. So you can choose a note you can copy from. Or another way of doing it is the right hand side here. It says copy is a copy previous visit. So I'm just going to choose one. So let's say we do copy from. So with this copy from, you have a couple of options. You can choose which note you want to copy from. So unfortunately, this patient has some trash notes that's done by me. So I'm going to actually just choose one of them. So let's just say I choose this one. So notice on the right hand side, you can choose all of the things to copy from, or you choose none of things to copy from. So for the most part, you probably don't want to choose vital signs. And for the most part, everything else, you could choose it. If you are copying from something and it's completely blank, it will not copy it. But if you copy something that has even one letter, right now you're selecting overriding existing, it will override it. So here we're gonna just choose everything. Let's just choose everything except the vitals, right? So we'll choose everything except the vitals and we're gonna copy and just watch everything gets copied over. So at this point, I'm assuming your MA is already putting the vital signs, so the vital signs would be already populated. But let's say, since I don't have an MA right now, I'm just gonna randomly put some vital signs here, just so we can kind of say we did that. So let's say blood pressure is 120 over 80. The pain score is 8, and we're gonna save that. So now let's look at this HPI we have going on with. So let's say if you want to edit it, you can edit it from here. And so this particular patient, I use the free form way of doing the HPI, and you can typically know which way you did a free form. So in all of these columns, there are two ways of doing stuff. One way is actually if you click on the left hand side, that will give you a clicking option. So you click, you click on different things. So this patient, it says visit type, follow up, and we're gonna follow up symptoms with lower back pain. So when you click on that, it says, if you click on left, it'll say left. See how left is clicked down? So left side right here. If you click on midline, it'll say midline. See midline. Or you can simply do it with the free form. So with the free form, what you'll have is you'll have something asterisk in front of it. So in this free form, what I loaded was that patient reports a new fall. This is not new anymore. So you can type whatever you want, and so you can choose that. And then so you just want to work all the way from top down. So in the general tab, what you can do is you can actually select who your MA is if you wanted to. You can choose who's performing provider, or You can choose who's the supervising provider. So let's say if I'm not the I'm the supervising provider, and let's say this note was actually done by somebody else. So if that's the case, typically you can add a role. I'm not sure why it doesn't have a clicking up. Oh, it does have a clicking option. So, or you can press on F11. So let's say performing is not me. It's actually it's a PA Caro. So we're gonna choose PA Caro, and it's gonna say PA Caro is for performing provider. So it'll check say yes. And then there is a little legend earlier if you wanted to look at it one more time. It's going to say bill to, we're going to say actually bill to whoever you want to bill to, you can say bill to, and then S is a sign off requirement. So let's say if it's sign off required by me or sign off required by PA Caro, or simply say both. And so I'm going to say okay. And then next thing you want to do is you want to add diagnosis. You just work your way down. So why is our diagnosis so high? We actually added it here so we can remember to add it for the procedure note, but you'll see what I mean. So let's say what's good about IMS is that all the diagnoses are added by kind of selected diagnosis. So if the patient comes in with lower back pain, you can go add it. You can add a couple of lower back pain. And then miscellaneous, just remember you click down on the add to the list. And then miscellaneous, you're gonna see long-term opiate use, you're gonna add that. So let's say if we copy the previous diagnosis, it's pretty much what we want. You can just leave it alone. So we'll okay that. Allergies, the big thing about allergies is that if you copied previously, you should already have the allergy in there. But let's say if you don't, in this particular thing, you kind of have to add an allergy called no known drug allergy. I know it's a little backwards, but you have to add it called no known drug allergies. It's better this way instead of freehand typing it, because when you add it like this, it'll show up no known drug allergy on the top. So this is like, if you want a quick glance, you can see where the check the allergy is. So HPI, it's our meat. You can free type, you can just copy based on what you have. So let's say what you had previously was already good. So you just want to add clinic note. Today is 3/20/2025. Patient is still hurting. So after we add that, let's say we go to the next page. Let's just assume family history, medical history, social history, and current medications already preloaded in this scenario. In the second half, we'll actually go through that step by step. So let's say they're already added, review systems already added, vital signs already added, and then your other stuff is already added. So you just want to make sure these are all filled up to the vital signs. You may not necessarily have green light questionnaire, UDT. I would highly recommend for any of the PAs and physicians to use this UDT as a template so everybody can benefit. So the UDT, you can do it two ways. If you want to individually put everything you want that would be great. If not, you can either put done on January 20, 2025, positive for Norco. You can either do that, or you can do another way. You just free type it. So you can free type it this way. And remember, left hand is click option, right hand is the little chart icon, and that's the free type. So again, I put it in one way and then the other way I put it in. So remember, free type is always going to have that 3 asterisk. What I would like to do is that with the UTT being here, you don't have to put in the HPI, and then if a person is copying previous note, they can quickly look at, okay, hey, last UDT was done on January. Now it's only been 2 months. We're not going to do another UDT just yet because the patient's been responsible with his medication. He's picking out the medication responsibly. So the next thing you want to do after that is you want to make sure you have a physical exam. So let's say previously physical exam is good. We'll leave it at that. If physical exam is not good, then we'll on the second half of the video we'll show you how to add it. And then lastly is prescription. So prescription is where you would add additional prescriptions. So you can type it in this way. I am understanding that right now, for whatever reason, PA cannot click on the prescription tab because they don't have that option. So I won't show this, but the physicians can click on the prescription tab and add medication. I will show you another way to add medication for now. And then after that, let's say we add a treatment plan. We'll say refill Norco 10 through 25 today. So let's just say it's something like that. And then after that, we look at the procedure note. We're like, okay, I'm pretty super happy with this. We will click on the super bill. And then, so in this case, we do want to build this procedure. We do want to build this clinic note. So you can have the either option of new patient or established patient. Established patient, we're going to do a 99214. We check the PDMP, we check the UDS. So we're going to add that. So previously this was added because we built a 213. So we're going to say, no, we're not going to do that one. We're going to delete this current row. We're actually going to add 214 down here. So 214 now shows up. So that looks pretty good. So here is sign off. So sign off essentially is going to be the sign off button. So before I sign off, I do want to show you right now, if you have a hard time, you can, if you have a hard time checking PDMP, if you do not have the prescription tab, you can click on this little man here, which will go to this particular tab, which is the chart view. If you right click on that, if you right click on the previous little man, you can get to this area. And then under the reaction, there is a little tab. You can check last PDMP if you have the PDMP activated. And understand some of the PAs don't have the PDMP activated. So if you have the PDMP activated, if you click on that little pill box, it's going to show you the PDMP. Or if you want another way, there's another way you can click on that thing, click on this little man, this time left click, and you go to all the way to the middle. It says PDMP again. That's going to generate a PDMP report for you. And that's going to be over here. Yes, I do understand right now the PAs doesn't have it. I think they're trying to get it up for you guys. Just keep in mind they are trying for you. All right. So after that, let's say we are good with this note. We'll go ahead and do the super bill, which is signing off. So we'll sign off. I believe I am logged in as Maluo. So technically it would be the PA signing off first and then I'll sign off. But in this case, particular case, I am doing it in reverse. So I'm going to use my existing password. I'm going to it's going to say visit note is not signed up by some provider. Are you sure you want to continue? Ideally, Melissa would sign up before me, but I'm just doing this right now. But if, let's say, Melissa did it first and I am looking at it second, what the physician would go to is they go to my task, and under my task, they will see a note that needs to be signed off, and it'll say that over here. But right now, since I'm already signed off, it won't show that. Okay, so that's one way of doing it with copies previous note, but understand that right now a lot of patients do not have the previous note copied. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a patient that's completely new from a sample patient that's completely new from EMD. So we'll see what that looks like, okay? So in this series, we're going to see how the patient does a completely transfer from EMD. So we're going to double click on this patient and that will transfer to the right, and then we're going to double click it again and this will go to the right, and then we are now going to create a new node. It's going to say visit node now entered. Do you want to continue? Yes. So let's say this test patient is actually from our old EMD and we want to move it over. Ideally, we are working on an electronic form that basically when the patient fills out the form, it'll automatically populate it, all of these. We are working on it so that the old patient, if there are old patients from EMD, we're going to ask them to fill out that. As of right now, it's not available right now, so you may have to manually transfer. So I'm going to show you a decent way to manually transfer over. So right now I have nothing on this patient, but I have a lot of stuff on EMD. So what I do? So what you can do first is that in the EMD, I'm going to pull up the sample test patients. Let's say this is the sample patient we're trying to transfer over, and I have all these follow-up notes or new patient notes, and I'm just trying to transfer over to the next visit note. The best thing you can do, I would recommend, is search for Notepad. Why Notepad? Because if you transfer directly and copy and paste from EMD, the format is really clunky. Some of the paragraphs don't transfer, so you're gonna get like a really, really long sentence. So what I recommend is I would recommend you just copy everything that's subjective. So everything all the way up to objective. So in order to do that, you can hold down, highlight over here and drag it down yourself, or you can hold shift and click and that will drag it down as well. Or you can just kind of highlight it and drag it down. And you can either do right click copy or you can do Control C. Control C is copy. So open that notepad that you have and copy over here. Why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing this because EMD will not let you minimize very well or all changing tabs without having you go back and re-log in. But IMS lets you do that very well. So a shortcut I usually use is Alt-Tab. So Alt-Tab will get you back and forth between the two tabs when you have the tabs, which is, then it gets pretty easy, right? So general, remember, we can choose the supervising provider if you want to add a row, if you're the performing provider versus supervising provider, if you're PA, so put you as performing and then put somebody else as supervising. So I'm going to delete one of the rows right now because I'm the only one doing it right now. And then diagnosis and decision. So we're going to add diagnosis. And so if this patient is an old patient, but it's completely new to IMS, you're going to have to add diagnosis. So something you can do is you can, let's say the patient takes opioids and then has some lower back pain, lower back lumbar radiculopathy, and then we're going to add it to diagnosis. That will drop down to the menu. And then allergies. So allergies, all of those are from the old patient. So we're going to go to allergies. So we got allergy, we got some coding and itching. So what I would recommend is either do Control C or Control X. Control X is cut and Control C is copy. So I'm actually personally like cut, so that way I know it's kind of gone. So I'm gonna do Control X, so I know allergy is gone. So I did Alt-Tab to allergies. So allergies, I'm gonna do Control V. So remember, once again, there are two tabs of each one. One is the left click. Left click is actually clicking, and right click is the freehand. So I usually, for copy and paste, I use the free form. So chief complaint, this one is pretty easy. So I just freehand type in lower back pain for the patient. And then HPI, so HPI was pretty long for us. So HPI, remember, we're gonna do everything up to the area where between anything that you've seen fit that's HPI. So for me, I'm gonna search everything that's HPI. I do Control X and then Alt-Tab. That's gonna go to my new tab, and then I'm gonna click on this and copy and paste here. So I'm gonna copy and paste. Obviously, since it's an old patient note, you can add new things. You're gonna add new clinic visits on top of that. So I'm gonna click OK. I'm not adding anything particular. So again, we're gonna go back to family history, and so we're gonna scroll down. Where's our family history? Do we have a family history from previously? Sounds like we do right here. So family history positive for this. So we're gonna Control X, cut, and then go to family history, Control V, and then I'm not gonna do everything here. So you're gonna repeat the same thing for medication history, social history, current medication review system, and then the vital sign. Hopefully the medical assistant already put it in for you. But since we didn't put it, since they didn't put it in right now, I don't have a medical system at this hour. We will put something right here. And after that, you notice everything that we filled out. We have a dark blue, and everything we didn't fill out because we skipped it to try to save some time, we will have nothing on there. And then I stress the importance for the UDT. I would highly recommend everybody to use this UDT option so that they can either freeform type, say UDT January 2025, positive for Norco. You can do it that way, or you can actually click on the UDT and the UDT, so you can say positive for Norco, January 20th, 2025. Again, it's going to show up twice here, but look at the difference. The UDT from the first part, when you freehand it into the left hand, will show up top, and then the little extra tab, this one is the extra tab, will show up second. So this extra tab one will have the ... or the asterisk on top of it. So if anything freehand will be asterisk behind it. So you fill that out, and then you do your treatment plan. Let's say patient has done some PT, plan to refill Norco today, and then I click OK. Obviously, there are some treatment options that you can free type, you can click. You can look at this on your own time. I am not clicking at this time right now. So I'm gonna say OK, and then after that, let's say this looks pretty good. I'm gonna start billing it. I'm gonna click on Super Bill, and then after that, we're gonna click on Establish Patient 99214, and then make sure you add it to the charges. And then I'm gonna sign off this visit note. And after that, we will go ahead and sign it off and use existing password. I'm not gonna sign it off right now, but that's, oh, you know what? I'll sign it off here. So we'll do Super Bill and then sign off and use existing password. And after sign off here, I'm looking for that green sign off option. So that's how you do a note that's copying from EMD. This should help you save some time. Again, later down the line when we're better, hopefully we will have allergy, chief complaint, HPI, all these pre-populated from the patient filling it out, the form. But that's in the works. In the meantime, if you have a hard time, just use the notepad to transfer. If you want to see what it looks like without the transfer, this is what it looks like. Oh, by the way, if you ever wanted to edit the note and you want to addend it, what you just go in the note essentially like how it is, and you click on here. It's gonna say sign off right now, and it's gonna say something like it doesn't let you type anything. You have to say allow edit. That means you're trying to do an addendum, and you have to put in the same password you use to sign off. And then I'm gonna copy the medication list I just copied from. You see how messed up this is? Everything is a run-on sentence. So this is what I don't want if you copy it straight from EMD. This is really not that readable for a lot of providers. So I prefer if you copy to Notepad, and then from Notepad, that saves the format. But if you do addend this and this is okay, and this is already automatically saved, you don't have to sign it again. It's still gonna stay signed off, and you just addend as is, okay? All right, so that's how you do that part.